So stuff has arrived. This is the factory brake booster on my car. This is for ABS. There's the ABS, which is never going to go back on the car. This is the new booster. I just picked this up used on eBay, and I'm currently taking the master cylinder off of it. We're going to use the booster and the reservoir with this master cylinder. And then I'm going to reroute these lines into the master cylinder directly, thereby eliminating the ABS. Now, if you have a Mark III and you go to convert it to non-ABS, be aware that some Mark IIIs aren't equipped with a proportioning valve for the rear brakes. Mine actually does, for some reason. So I imagine I won't have problems with the rear wheels locking in the rain. My proportioning valve is adjustable, so if I do, I can just adjust the pressure to the rear and we should be okay. So right now I'm disassembling this, and then I'm going to paint it, and then we will, I don't know if I'm going to put that on and then put it in, or maybe I should just put the booster in and then put that on. We'll determine the order of operations here as we go. So there's the booster painted and installed in the car. Looks pretty scrumptious. And we cut the brake line here, removed the shitty large fitting that I couldn't find an adapter for, and flared this out and used one of the fittings that came on the old master cylinder, or I should say the new old master cylinder, because that was the eBay one. And now I'm almost to the point where I can bench bleed this and put it in. I'm not sure if the driver's side front corner is going to actually reach the master cylinder. I don't have my opener, you can get the door. But that's where we're at with that. I'm just waiting for the shield to dry. It's a little dinged up and stuff, but it doesn't look too terrible. So I'm gonna put that on, and then I can go ahead and bench bleed the master cylinder and put that in. If you were curious what the bottom side looks like, focus, there we go. Right up there, that's the back side of the brake booster. There's 2 bolts there, there's 1 bolt there, and then way up top there is the other bolt. And with all this crap in the way, you can imagine how much fun that is. And then the other fun thing, and thanks to this rearview mirror, see the white plastic piece? That's the back of the brake pedal, and that's the special clip that ball inserts into, like a ball and socket, and there's little plastic tabs. Let's see if I can illuminate it. Yeah, you can see the plastic tabs sticking out that actually latch in there. You have to actually have a special tool to release that, and I didn't have the tool. So through trial and error, with everything from trying to make the special tool to a pair of snap ring pliers with Allen wrenches in it to a pair of flat blade screwdrivers, nothing worked. So out of frustration, I yanked with precision, and it popped out and did not break the plastic clips. So theoretically, we're done under here. I need to put the plastic trim back on and the bolster, and we should be okay. But I could care less. At the moment, I just want the rest of the brake system to go together. It finally doesn't smell moldy in the car, now that it's been inside and drying out. Oh yeah, here's 1/2 of the special tool I tried to make. Originally this was 1 piece, and my dimensions were off, so I ended up just cutting it in half. But that was the original plan, which didn't work, so that's life. And Will is back with some synthetic .3 and 4 brake fluid. and the money. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For getting that. That's awesome.
I was being considerate of your financial of it, and they had only that 4 in Prestone, but the little ones, it would have came up to be $15 or $8 for 3 and 4, and I know 3 and 4 are compatible, so
yep, that's fine.
I was being considerate of your financial stuff. So.
Personally, I prefer the Valvoline brand anyway, so that works out.
You're welcome.
So, cool. Well, I have to go to the captain's office and help out with something really quick, but that's where we're at. It's painted, it's bolted in, shield's drying. We'll slap that on, bench bleed the master, put that in. This is the wiring for the ABS. There's a lot of wiring here that I'm not going to use, so I thought about pulling the harness and like depinning it and removing it, but that's just a giant headache that I frankly don't really want to deal with right now. So I'm just gonna heat shrink it, tape it up,
rape it,
tuck it in the corner, and then we'll be fine. So that's the progress so far. I don't think I showed this earlier, but part of the problem with converting this car from ABS to non-ABS was this little booger right here. So this is a M12 or 12 millimeter threaded brake line fitting, and they put this on one of the brake lines that goes to the back of the car. And the reason why is with ABS you need to differentiate the right and left side, and so they put this on here, and then the other one is a standard size. So what I did, and here you can see the sizing comparison. This is the 10 millimeter standard brake line that they use. So I tried to find an adapter, and I could not find an adapter fitting. So I ended up cutting the brake line and bubble flaring the end of this with a flare tool and putting the 10 millimeter one on. I hope that seals. My buddy Will helped me too. We did a couple practice ones, liked how it was looking, so we decided to try it on the car, and we refined it a little bit, and it seemed to work. So when I put the master cylinder in, we'll bend them around, and then we should be okay. So these go to the rear. There's one front one right here, and the other front one ends up right here, way over here. So I'm going to have a lot of extra on this one. And this one is almost too short. I'm not sure if that thing's going to reach. I kind of don't think so. So we may have to continue this tomorrow. I don't know. I don't get much. I don't get much at all. Ugh. Look at all that nasty salt. I need to wash this thing. I need to wash it before it starts rusting. It's so bad. Ugh. Frustrating. So right now I'm waiting for the master cylinder to dry because it's Michigan and that was bare metal. And when I installed the brake master, or not the brake master, the clutch master, it was bare metal, and look at it now. And I put that on before driving out here, like just before driving out here. So that's nasty. Hopefully that reaches still. Oop, a little bit of dribble. One cool thing, now there's actually a pin that goes through the center of this here that this locks onto, and I tried getting that pin out of the master cylinder that came here, but that was off of a Minnesota car, so it was rusting just as bad as anything else in this half of the United States. So I'm just going to use a cotter key. So we'll put the cotter key through there after the reservoir's on, and that should work just fine. And then I cleaned this up, looks pretty good. And this came off an automatic transmission car, so I didn't have the hose where the clutch master connects actually had a cap on the end. So apparently they use the same reservoir for automatic and manual cars. And where's the little plastic piece? I guess I don't get to show you. But yeah, there's just a little crimped end on here. And you just take a razor blade and lop it off, and there you go. You're good to go for your clutch master. So I'll give that thing one more healthy coat and let it dry. I might heat gun it just a little bit. I don't know. Some delicate parts in there. So let it dry, and then we'll stuff it on and go from there. Okay, so it's painted and we're ready to bench bleed the master. Now, bench bleeding a master is something that you must do prior to installing a new master cylinder into your car. So I have, in this case, the back two ports plugged, and they give you these in the kit to insert into the port, but I really didn't like that arrangement. So what I ended up doing was the eBay master cylinder and brake booster I bought came with the lines cut off. So I, cut the line with a pipe cutter and just slid the clear plastic tube over it. And now I have like a really good seal. And so you submerge the lines in brake fluid, and then you actually fill this up a little bit. And that's going to be impossibly hard to see, but alright, so we're to there in the reservoir. You can see it bubbling already as it works its way out there. So what I'm going to do is by hand I'm going to pump this. This is where the brake pedal attaches to, well, via the brake booster. You can see the rod right there that pokes out. That's what pushes your master cylinder to apply the brakes. So what I will do is pump this, and it'll pump fluid through here, and it'll draw it back up slightly. But the idea is it'll push the air out, and so after I do these front two, I'll plug the front, and then we'll do the back two. Alright, so the new master cylinder's in. 3 of the 4 lines are hooked up. We kind of got this maze thing going on because I have a buttload of extra line. But, it's out of the way of anything really, so it's fine. I don't mind. The other rear line's down there. It goes up to here. Now, this front left corner, let me show you just how short we are here. That's it. That's all I can get out of this thing. So I guess I'm gonna have to either get an extender, put it like there, or just get a replacement line altogether. So we'll figure it out, but that's installed. It's all bolted in.
So close.
Yeah.
So fucking close.
Man, if that would have plugged in, we could have drove this home tonight. Oh well.
Nope, you're just ain't that lucky.
That's the breaks of life. Bad pun intended. Alright. Well, we'll continue this tomorrow, but that's where I'm at. I freed up a lot of space, cleaned up the engine compartment a little bit. Although the lines kind of look ugly, but I can cope with that. I'm okay with that. It's not kinked. As long as it freaking works. Yep. It's just a daily driver. It's not a show car.
Yeah, we can clean it up later if we gotta.
So, alright. More later. Okay, all 4 lines are hooked up. I just grabbed a female adapter and a short piece to extend the line. I'm not really concerned with replacing it with a whole new line. It's not necessary. So this one just kind of does the up and over thing. So they're all hooked up. The reservoir is topped off. So now we're going to start bleeding. This is my power brake bleeder I built. It is a refrigerant compressor. I think that's a scroll compressor actually, or a rotary. And I have like a 1 or 2 gallon air tank here. And I have the suction line plumbed into the air tank. And it pulls a vacuum. And then I'll plug that line in. So let's see it in action. That one's done. Okay, so it's done. We might need to bleed the other corners without the power bleeder, you know, just the good old-fashioned way. The pedal feels a little different, but it's definitely not spongy. It just travels a little bit more before I have pressure, but it feels like I have good solid pressure. There doesn't appear to be any leaks. And if you do this conversion, you're going to have to get a wiring harness off of the car that you get the other stuff from, because that does not plug into there. So I'm going to have to go to the junkyard and cut one off the other car and put it on here. But there she is, all finished. So that's pretty good. I got the interior put back together, and I disabled the daytime running lights. The parking lights still come on with the key, but at least I don't go through headlights so quickly or draw extra power from the alternator when it's not really needed. So that's all sorted. I just need to throw the floor mat back in, give it a vacuum, clean it up a little bit. I'm not positive if I'm taking it tonight or not. I haven't decided. You kind of have to unbury it to get it out. And even at that, I need to test drive it and make sure that everything's okay. So anyway, that's the end of the GTI project. I have a water pump to go in it. I want to get the thermostat housing and stuff for it first before I tackle that, because I have to open the cooling system and I'm going to make a mess. And it's just easier to do all of that at once because it's a ginormous pain in the ass. So you'll get to see more of that. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you next time.